Oh, welcome to another episode of Soul Citizen. This is episode 27. We talk about which ships are multi-purpose. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce our co-host today, starting with Gigi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gigi. Y'all know me. I'm going to be loud at some point. That's about the extent of it.
And if you want to take bets, the winch will be loud. The betting pool starts now. And how about you, Ted? How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks, FC. I'm TenthSigma. Happy to be back on the show again. Yeah, should be a great discussion today.
And Unique, our returning champion. You muted.
Hi, everybody. Unique here. Longtime Star Citizen fan. It's great to be back on the show again. Good to see Gigi. Good to see Fastcart. Good to see Tenth. Let's get the ball rolling.
Nigga,
Cool.
let's do it.
So, before we start to do some qualifications here, we'll be talking about certain ships and what we think would qualify them as multi-purpose. Your definition may or may not agree, but if they disagree, you can comment in YouTube comment or you can comment in Twitch chat and to tell us what you think. All right, so for the first ship, we have the Avenger Titan, and there should be a graphic coming up on that soon. So I'll start. I have an Avenger Titan. It's one of my, well, I wouldn't say one of my favorite ships, but one of my favorite starting ships. Could a lot of cargo compared to the other um, ships of that price point, and it's between that and 315. No, not 315, but the 300 series. And I went with, well, I have both, but I think the cargo on the Avenger Titan is pretty good for the price. Also, I like the look, but that's not really a qualifying point. Um, oh yeah, it had the decent firepower, so it's a good fighter also. So that's the second one, and the third one, yeah, let's come back to that one. How about you, Ten?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, FC. I love this ship. The travesty for me is I don't have the ship, right? Like I don't own it.
Well, it's not Origin.
Right. Yeah, exactly. so but this is a spectacular ship, and every time I get into it, friends have one, my wife has one. But the idea when I get into it is like, man, this thing is nimble. And it can maneuver. It's very maneuverable, and I don't know if you would call maneuverability or the ability to get in and out of small spaces. You kind of think when we didn't have the restricted areas around buildings, you could kind of fly, especially at Area 18. You could fly in between, the buildings and things like that, and that was a good ship to do it in if you're if you have that starter ship. But I love the aspect of the cargo. Like you start box missions, you can start a little bit of cargo from there, and it has firepower that can get you out of a situation if you ever came into a fight. You're not just gonna get pew pewed on the spot. So the Titan is a really good ship for fighting cargo and just maybe ease of entry into the game. I know we when we think about starter ships, like any ship somebody can get is a starter ship. We were talking about in the green room with Unique, but I think one of the things too is that since it's a game package ship for somebody who's new to the game, um, this is a fantastic choice. So I think it's an early on entry level. Somebody who's getting used to the game can get into this ship and experience multiple gameplay loops right now with that ship, and I think that makes it a really good multi-purpose. So yeah, I agree.
And how about you, Unique?
Oh, yeah. I actually own one, and I didn't for the longest time, but I think a couple months ago I picked one up. It's very agile. One of the reasons is it's a good starter ship. for being able to fly in space and in atmosphere. I like that capability quite a bit. Like I said, very nimble, has good firepower on it, and can support cargo missions because it can carry some cargo. It goes pretty good from a distance aspect, and so you get decent range on it. If you're just a starter player, you can get into the simulator and Arena Commander and fly and fight decently in that, and not just get blown up with some of the other smaller ships in general. So yeah, I think it's got good armor for this cost and the size of the ship, and it looks pretty good in my opinion too. That's all I got on that
point
one.
about the armor. And GT, how about you? What do you think of the Titan?
I love the Titan. I probably fly the Titan more than any other ship I have. If I'm just hopping in and going somewhere, I'm in the Titan. It's small, it's agile. You know what I mean? I can get in, I can get out. If I got to shoot at somebody, I can do that. And it doesn't become right. It's perfect. And like Younique said, going in and out of atmosphere for me, I'm a terrible pilot, so I need all the help I can get. So I adore the Titan. I don't know how much I would say that it's multi-purpose, but that doesn't take away my love for it. I don't think I would call it multi-purpose though.
And why not?
Because honestly, beyond flying it and slight cargo opportunities, what really does it do?
It can fight pretty well for its
Yeah,
size
but
and
that
fast.
I don't know, that doesn't seem multi-purpose to me. Multi-purpose means you got like 3 to 5 really amazing attributes. So we're really only coming up with 2 right now, and then kind of throwing agility and like being good at a starter ship, tacking it on at the end, but that's not it's tacking it on. It doesn't count. And I don't think it's a multi-purpose ship, but I do love it.
Well, for its price point, like Younique said, it does have decent armor. It's just some of the other ships, like maybe the Gladius, which is a bit more expensive, but it's lighter on armor, so it's not as tanky. But the Gladius is nimble compared to Titan. So I mean, yes, it is kind of tacked on, but it's like that's like the third choice of what make it a multi-purpose ship. But yeah, I can see your point.
I do love it though, and she's so pretty.
So anything else about the Avenger Titan? Any other thoughts?
I think too, before we move on to the next one, I think the Titan, we're talking about the Titan, I guess the kind of stock model, but we can't forget about the blue one.
Stalker.
The Stalker or the Renegade. To put that into perspective as well, for the ship's ability to capitalize on the freight, the combat, et cetera, et cetera. So again, it's I don't
versatile.
know. Yeah, it is super versatile.
Versatility from that aspect, yeah.
The thing that you want
to actually have a Renegade.
Yeah, a Renegade. That's a fantastic ship, and I think it has a special place for players who both start the game and players who are more are vets in the game. I think this is a good ship that I know when we talk about just wanting to jump in a ship, not be the focus of attention and just zip around the verse. And I think this is immediately what you think about.
Full agree.
So yeah.
So in your opinion, do you think the Renegade or the Stalker are more of a multi-purpose ship more than a Titan?
Over the base model, no. I think when you think about the Stalker, you lose that cargo space due to the EMP in the back, right? So you can't. That ship is gonna capitalize on combat, but it's not going to do much of anything else well. But that EMP is fierce, right? And then you get more space.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the EMP
in the Renegade. So the Titan, the stock model is probably the one that we would think about out of the 3 that do the multi-purpose. But at the end of the day, the two variants are just enhancing. Since you can come and buy this ship as a starter ship, and then you could upgrade to a Renegade or a Stalker. I think this is that CIG recognizes that different types of gameplay can be found specifically through the variants. So you could be an interdiction specialist or whatever kind of EMP player, electronic EWAR player, but you can also build on your hauling and cargo career as well. So I think the Titan itself is probably the one multi-purpose out of that crew.
Yeah, I think
agree.
out of the smaller ships as a whole, if you had to pick one and not be sorry in some instances, this is the ship, right?
Mhm.
I think this is the ship.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Cool.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, so let's
Like
move
I've
on.
never been fired
go ahead.
on in my Titan. You know what I mean? I've never been fired on in my Titan. I've been fired on in my Prospector. I've been fired on, God forbid we go out with Griff and that freaking 890. Everything
Mhm.
roaming the freaking verse is firing on you. Nobody's ever
Yeah.
fired on me in my Titan. Don't matter what I'm carrying, what I'm doing, because I am very just incognito. Who cares? She's in a Titan. Like
Yeah, but you're not afraid either.
and not exactly. But if
It can
somebody
fight.
does fire on me, I feel like I got a little comeback before I'm just done.
Yeah, it's kind of reasonable all the way around, and that's
Yep.
pretty good.
All right, so let's move on from that and go to the Merchantman. I'll go last on the Merchantman for obvious reasons. So let's go with Younique. What are your thoughts on the Merchantman?
I'm glad I bought it early, so I don't have to actually spend game time trying to learn the language and get up my rep with the Banu in order to buy the ship. If the specs stay the same, it's relatively a very large ship, and so with most large ships, you can generally do several things with them. So it's going to be one of the largest cargo carriers around, from not just the ship size, but how much total cargo it can carry. So that's one thing it does. The other is it's there for trading, so you can open stores, like it's a mobile store, so that can land planet side. There's other ships that are possibly like that, like the Kraken, the modified Kraken, but landing it on a planet or a moon is probably really not the thing you're going for. It probably stays in space as much as possible. But the Merchantman can get down on the ground and go see the customers directly. So getting you around and traveling to these different locations, plenty of fuel, and it has a lot of firepower as well to protect itself. So I think it's pretty good. Pretty good multi-purpose ship.
How about you, DJ?
I mean, clearly it is multi-purpose. Like, you can't say that it's not. You know what I mean? It's a heavy freighter. It's gotta have high speed and durability. It's gonna be able to, landing and docking, and it's definitely multi-purpose. I would not buy one.
Yeah.
I would probably go for a Defender, not a Merchantman. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to it. It's going to be an amazing, amazing ship when it does drop. I just definitely no.
And Kent?
You know what I love about the Merchantman. I agree with everyone else. The ability to be a trade ship, the ability to sell, to haul cargo is kind of in the same realm. And I don't know if what I'm going to say kind of counts as it being multi-purpose, but because the Banu and what we know about the race right now, they're only offering the Defender and the Banu Merchantman. These Banu Merchantmans are actually kind of flipped and designed to be kind of a base of operations for the Banu when they do get into combat. So I think that's a useful multi-purpose, bringing the combat aspect of it in. I don't have the specs on it or anything like that, but it's probably pretty tanky and has a little bit of firepower. When you flank it with a whole bunch of defenders, I think it becomes a way for the Banu to protect the wares, especially that are inside of the BMM. So it's a cool ship and it has some great history too, with ships being passed down from generation to generation on the Banu and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's one of those ships that when you mention it, a lot of people think of get a different kind of feeling when you're talking about a merchantman versus kind of off the line ship, cranking them out, maybe similar to our human ship manufacturers, but our alien ship manufacturers is different. So I like the BMM. I don't own one. I'll talk about that a little later, but yeah. So I dig it.
So you guys can sit back for a while I go on my
Right, like everybody just get a glass, relax. Fastcart's got to talk about the merchantman now.
It's not fair that you're actually from the Banu family.
I don't quite know the branding link yet, but I'll get on that in a bit. No, what I'm going to say is people are forgetting that it's also a blockade runner. So if you someone trying to like guard a planet or maybe even guard a jump port or something, it's supposed to be to punch through the blockade. So I think that'll be very handy. And like one of the few ships, if not one of the only ships that has that purpose. And also, people mentioned the bazaar and how much cargo it can carry. Of course, it's also having a room for people to meet up in, like not really a CNC, but maybe like maybe a VIP chamber for people to meet up and talk and stuff like that. It's in the concept art. So I don't know. That was like when it first came out. I don't know if it's still there, but as far as I know, it's still there. Also,
I think,
people have mentioned that. Go ahead.
Oh, I also think that potentially in the gameplay, based on the lore, because they are so well known as traders, anytime a merchantman shows up, it could easily be like the first offering into some sort of liaison place for doing multi-species international meetings and neutral places to negotiate contracts.
Could be a neutral territory.
Settlements or stuff. Yeah, neutral territory, because they're so well known as that, they could be the intermediary. So if everybody sort of gets that idea in the game and plays that every time you see one, you're not really going to be looking to attack it at first. You're going to be saying, oh, maybe some sort of diplomatic mission's going on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Chris and I get asking me, will the BMM be the first transformer? Maybe. We never know. I mean, it does have that tongue that sticks out, so you never know what that's going to turn into. But also, it's huge. Talk to people discussing in chat. It came out at 250, but then when the second group of concept pictures came out like 3 or 4 years ago, that's a picture that you're currently showing, that picture. People were saying how big it's going to be, like compared to like maybe a Polaris or something like that. So yeah, if people who bought it early really are probably getting their money's worth. I imagine when it finally releases, it's going to be closer to 400, 450, or maybe 500 when it actually goes live. So we'll see about that. What do you guys think?
I think I'm going to make some money.
Maybe Ken will pick one up.
Yeah. I mean, hey, never turn down a dollar.
All right, so I'm gonna chill and stop my rant there, so we don't spend the rest of this show talking about the merchantman. Do you have any final? you have any final thoughts?
Good shot.
Okay, no. Okay.
One of the better ships.
I think it's probably the cooler alien ship, which is definite.
So far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, I think the merchantman is probably my only alien ship. Well, yeah. I mean, not counting the Nox, which is supposed to be like the Xeon, or counting like the Mist, the MISC ship, kind of ship, because that also have Xeon tech in it. But I think that's my only alien ship. So yeah, you're right.
Through and through, yep.
Very cool. So the Mustang Beta. They're going to start with Gigi on this one. What are your thoughts on the Mustang Beta?
I really don't like it. I'm sorry, I had it.
Oh,
and I was not a fan. I was just,
not a fan?
No,
What did it do? What did it? So I haven't had one either. So what didn't you like about it?
I don't know. It's you know how I always say I like small maneuverable ships? It's
Mhm.
almost too maneuverable. Like the slightest touch will send you doing barrel rolls. You know what I mean? Like it's
Correct.
like trying to fly a toilet paper tube. Like everything is just
That's a visual I never had before. Thank you.
I just I can't, y'all. I'm sorry. I tried. I did. It didn't work out for me. I was just I don't know. I didn't enjoy my time with it. So
But do you think
yeah.
it's a multi-purpose?
Do I think it's multi-purpose? No, you can't do much with it. Like you can just go where you're going. Does it even jump? I don't even think it jumps.
Yeah,
Like,
It
it
jumps.
does
Okay,
jump.
yeah,
Okay,
it
it
does
jumps.
jump.
But yeah, I'm not a fan. And I don't think it's multi-purpose. You're just gonna get where you're going in a beta, really.
yeah. Here's the thing that I'd say about it, though. So Gigi has a good point, because when I think about the Mustangs, aren't there, like, there's the stock version, which is the alpha, right? We're talking about the beta. And then
Right.
don't you have like two after that, like the two racing variants? Like one's like a
You have the Gamma and the Delta
the Gamma and
Yeah.
and
the
the
Delta.
Omega.
The Delta, which is the fighter, and then the other two, which I think are the racers, right? Like so,
Mhm.
or
It's the
whatever.
alpha, gamma, delta, and omega.
Got it. So here's the deal. When, like, I feel as though this ship is designed to race, right? Like I feel as though I haven't seen a lot of
Gamma.
people race it, right? I haven't, like, you know, in the grand scheme, I haven't seen a lot of people race it. I don't see a lot of people use it. When GG says the agility is like really high on it, that it's more akin to, because at the higher ends or the later levels with the Delta and the Gamma, the Omega, the Gamma and the Omega, right? The two racing models, like they are
Yeah.
geared, you know, towards racers, and so I think the consolidated is kind of thinking about how they might create some offerings in the beginning of a person's career in the verse to race, or if someone wants to race all the different variants of ships that can do that, like the M50 or the EX from MISC or whatever, right? I don't think this has a multi-purpose aspect to it unless you have the whole fleet, right? If you have an alpha for that basic thing, for the kind of just the entry level, if you have the beta for the what we're talking about today with, like, it can do a little bit of everything, I guess, but not so much. And then you have the delta and everything else, like that makes the whole line versatile, but I don't think you can pin it with the beta just being multi-purpose by itself, right? Like I think that
Yeah.
it's too it could be a great you know, moon to moon, planet to planet, you know, surface to moon, surface to you know, outpost or anything like, or the space station. Fine, yeah. I don't think you're doing anything much else in it. And instead, if you're like looking to keep a low key, probably, but you could do that same in the Avenger and still have a little bit of firepower to get you out of a pinch, and you can carry a
And
lot
some
more
cargo
boxes.
space. Exactly.
Right. So, you know, I think someone said in chat, like, the Mustang, this one doesn't feel like it fits in Star Citizen, and I'd be more inclined to agree with that, right? It just it doesn't feel like it needs it's missing some things, right? The whole line itself, maybe, like, it's okay, but the CNOU trailers, the ships, they're just not compelling, right? So I'd say I'd pass on this, and I wouldn't get one, and I don't have one, and don't plan on having one, and wouldn't call it multi-purpose. So I just effectively just made CNOU and this Mustang beta sound terrible.
I mean,
but
it's the honest opinion that you have.
My opinion is it's one of the few, or the only Mustang that has living quarters in the back. The Alpha, the Omega, and Gamma and Delta don't have that. I mean, what did that make it multi-purpose? That's an opinion. But in my opinion, yes, because I mean, it's a touring ship, it's an exploring ship, so that gives it at least one utility, and it has the living space in the back that makes it easier for you to stay out without having to dock it everywhere. And then you can jump with it. Just had confirmation. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the Titan in my opinion. Like the Titan has cargo. This has living quarters. But other than that, it can fight a little bit. It's really maneuverable. But that's like
really?
a tertiary. Yeah. Okay. But so yeah, that's my opinion. What about you, Unique?
Oh, y'all are being so nice to this ship. You really are.
We are trying to be politically correct.
I can see that, but that time frame is now over. Let me explain what the Mustang is good for. It has one ability, and that is it will take you from wherever you launch, it will take you all the way to the crash site. That's it. It's not guaranteed though. Guaranteed. It's not the number one racer. It's not a number one fighter. They look good, but the write-ups all about it, if you did buy it, I guarantee you feel like somebody snuck around and robbed you on the pier. They just picked your wallet.
I think you're being too subtle, Unique. Tell us how you really feel.
Okay. This is not game worthy at all. I don't know why they. How do you? Yeah. How can this be compared against the Aurora at all? I mean, that's what they came up with to give new players the same price point, but a different flair on it, right? Which would be, oh, I really want a combat ship. Well, you didn't get that. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Unless it's Mustang only combat, Mustang only racing. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty much the worst ship.
It's pretty much
I mean, of all of them.
I said the Aurora's a flying brick. I still like it more than I like the Mustang Beta.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I do, because the Aurora, has that underneath cargo coming. They haven't done it, but it's going to carry a lot more cargo.
Cargo box, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could take the pieces of the Mustang and put it in that cargo box after you crash the Mustang. That's what I think.
Wow, I've never seen someone with such a strong opinion about the Mustang before. Okay, interesting.
It's just bad. It's just bad.
Anyone else want to try to counter that, or he just win that debate right there?
No, it's bad. He's right. I think we're all in agreement besides you, Fastcart.
I will sign off on that. I'm going to sign off.
Sign off on it.
Put my stamp of approval on
right
that.
there.
Like big
certified.
My only thing.
Certified.
Yeah.
My only thing. I don't call any ship bad. I said maybe it's mediocre or not as good as some of the others, but it's still for the price. It's decent until you can maybe pick something else up that's better. I mean, for a toy ship, it's okay.
Or you could have just got an Aurora.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, got an Aurora. Okay, fine.
Seriously, where does it balance against the Aurora if you're talking
starships? It doesn't.
How do you pick it over the Aurora for anything outside of looks? I mean, if you don't like the Aurora looks.
Just for the beta, the living quarter, but Kuchnagi, Admiral Kuchnagi asked which version is worse, the original or the current. I personally like the original better than the current one because I thought it had a more homely feel. Like it was something I would want to go home to and log out, and compared to the current one, which is like kind of bland compared to the original one. But that's my opinion. I think quite a few people prefer the original over the current. But I still have one.
Let me throw this out real quick. Take all the Mustangs, merge them together, all the things they do. Right.
That'd be too
Is
OP.
it over an Aurora?
I don't know about open or, but okay, fine.
Well, there you go.
Okay, fine.
You have one
Yeah,
Mustang that can do all the things that all 4 Mustangs can do collectively, and you
still
still would pick an Aurora.
See, but here's the thing. I'm gonna so Younique threw his variable and I'm gonna throw mine in. You have the
Yeah.
Origin 100 series coming up, right?
Oh, here we go. With
They gotta get this
You know
right.
it's coming.
They gotta get it right. Look,
Okay.
no, look.
We had 30 minutes for the
No, wait.
the
I'm just gonna keep it
for the
brief.
betting
I'm
pool.
gonna keep it brief. Look, check this out. But keep it brief. You have
Origin
to
fan.
get this thing right? If we are going to look at the Mustang and CNOU's offering against all the Mustangs against the Auroras, the possibility, because you remember the 300 used to be a starter package, right? And now it's not anymore, right? So this is going to be Origin's way of putting its offering in line with like the Avengers and the CNOUs and the Auroras and everything else. We have to get it right, because if we don't, we have a lot to lose. And this is a time where we can shine as a ship manufacturer. Like I've always said, greatest ships in the universe, most beautiful, the most luxurious, and they can do anything, right? The 100 series, it can do anything. So I think we should really talk about the Origin 100 series as multi-purpose, best ship in the game, all kind.
This is like a paid advertisement.
Right,
here.
I'm like, okay, so did CIG pay you to run a commercial for the Origin? Like, what's
I'm
going
waiting for-
on, bro?
I'm waiting for Chris Roberts to
You
peel
thought I was
off
gonna
the
be bad, but I'm talking about the
face mask
merchandise.
right
You're
now.
like, wow, he's
That's-
giving this whole thesis statement on
We
Origin
just
100
didn't.
series.
Griff didn't put in the title Origin hashtag ad. We just forgot to do it. It's fine. We'll be okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll be okay. It's all right.
Like,
It's
so,
all right.
okay.
This is a tanned up Chris Roberts we're looking at. That's what we're seeing right there. That's what we're seeing right there.
Scuba Steve's hashtag sponsored. Yeah,
Right.
All
right. I'm gonna toss out for oh my goodness. I told her not to call, but she's still calling. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, see if our producer can do a Mustang giveaway in the show. He can say no, but if he can, I'll provide one. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You set it up, and
go.
let's see. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to spin the dial because.
Well, that's the question. I could use another.
It's an insult if you're
Are we
wild.
allowed to enter?
Yeah, you can enter it. I know. Why don't you have one? You love it.
Yeah, fine.
Right, I'm like, if you love it so much, don't you have one already, buddy?
Fine.
Or did you
I
find
was
it
kidding.
to be not worth the purchase?
No, I have one. I have a beta, like I said, but I do prefer the original over the current one. But
Yeah.
hopefully in the future, maybe they'll offer both options. But we'll see. All right,
y'all.
so
let's move on before we just.
I think we beat that one to death. All right, so the Genesis Starliner, starting with Younique. What are your thoughts on the Genesis Starliner?
I haven't really seen it. I mean, I like the idea that there's a big ship and the gameplay is going to come out with carrying people around. I mean, I haven't studied the ship, so I'm assuming it's got some sort of cargo level above and beyond people's luggage that they're going to carry if they're actually traveling around. I don't know what else it can really do. I mean, it's designed. I mean, it's like a Boeing 747. You're not going to fight with a Boeing 747.
Yeah.
So I'm finding it hard to come up with anything beyond that would say that it had multi-purpose.
Yeah, for me, the Starliner it can carry people and maybe able to swap out the internal to carry cargo or more cargo than people. And it's a nice looking ship. I really like the look of it. I don't have one. I don't think I'm going to get one in PU because that's not my game style or profession that I want to go in. Like, how many people do you know want to be a pilot or maybe a flight attendant on a Starliner? Not that many, I don't think. But as far as useful, thank you, Bean Bee, for the follow. But as far
I think you'll be surprised how many people have one.
Now, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised how many people have one, but I'm like, what are people going to do with it? That's my question.
Well, say you want to play Star Citizen, but you actually like you're a bunch of small kids. You don't actually have a lot of time to play Star Citizen, which it could really eat up 3, 4, 5 hours a night, right? Say you only had a small window, a half hour to here or there, but you still wanted to participate in the game. This is a good career because you don't always have to be available to fly the ship. And right, I mean, as an airline pilot, you just take the route, you get paid, you're done. You can do half hour every day, right? 7 days a week and still be in there with your friends. But you know, kind of a social contact kind of thing and still playing the game.
You say half hour though, but it's the Starliner. You picking up people and transporting or cargo and picking up something and transporting from one planet to another. If it's a different system, you need to go to a jump point, and that's gonna the travel by itself. That's like I want to say at least 45 minutes to an hour, depending on that just between two systems. If you got to make jumps with multiple systems, that's like maybe 15 minutes, depending on how far away the jump points are per system. So I don't think it's going to be that a half hour at all.
Yeah, but you get to pick your routes. You can just be a local pilot. Like I'm just staying within the star system. I'll take you to the moon, and whoever's there, and I'll take them back. It's just a quick run, right?
I think the Starliner more as a multi-system. Well, I mean, it can be both, but more of a multi-system.
Well, it is, but you don't have to do it that way.
You don't have to. Okay.
You know,
what
I mean,
gonna say?
Think about you and your Mustang, and then you crash out on some moon. You're gonna love a Starliner showing up on its route and picking you up and bringing you back someplace.
Well, I think the Starliner is like we're saying in chat, it fits a very specific kind of role. I think it goes well in tandem with being able when they talked about the Starliner, it being able to be a part of somebody's career inside of Star Citizen, whether you're a pilot or an attendant or like a marshal for security on the plane. But opening up a terminal at the major hubs so that you can operate out of it. So you might start with one Starliner but move on to a few. But then you might open up a division that has like VIP transporters part of it, etc. So the idea, I think, is to have the Starliner be really good at transporting a large amount of people, and being able to do that very efficiently, right? But I'm struggling to see it because we don't know much about the Starliner, outside like on how it will engage with the rest of the gameplay mechanics. So like what kind of cargo it's going to have, what kind of like quantum drive it's going to have. But I think the Starliner is definitely, when you put your eyes on it and you think about like what is that ship, that's a transport, that's an NPC, that's a player transport, a civilian player transport ship, right? So I'm struggling to see where it might be multi-purpose until we learn more about it. But I know that when you look at the rest of Crusaders' offerings, with the Avengers and even the Hercules, I don't know how the Starliner fits in that like transport of like items like cargo, because Hercules does that really well. The C2. So this might be just their way of saying Starliner people transport, and that's specifically what the ship is designed to do. So I like to think of the ships in terms of the manufacturers and what they have and what they don't. And so I don't know that I see this ship going past just passenger offerings.
How about you, Gigi?
I'm it's an Airbus, that just is what it is, and it's going to be great at what it does, but it is an Airbus. I don't imagine it's going to come with a lot of perks that are doing something different than getting people from A to B. I think it'll probably be the best version of something to go system to system, like you said, but honestly, it's transport. That's what it is. I don't know that we could call it multi-purpose. What else can it do but slight cargo?
I just came up with a different thing. It can do like VIP missions. It can be a VIP mission runner. So that's one other thing it can do. But if you want to call it multi-purpose because of that, I would. But that's
Right.
another option.
Because it could do VIP missions, but would you? It could, but would
Right.
you?
Right.
If you need to transport a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of them at
Right,
one
like,
time,
but
sure.
would you
But
consider how much fuel and all your resources that you're gonna go through just getting that ship off the pad? Is it worth it if you aren't, you know what I mean, transporting a huge amount of people? Not at all. It won't be worth
Well,
it to take it out.
if they're paying reasonable prices on a per head basis, if somebody's got the
Fair
money
enough, but
to
then
rent the whole thing out,
exactly. It would
Yep.
be like
and then
renting
you
a
put it
party bus,
up,
and then you're gonna have these people. Nobody's gonna pay that.
right?
That's
I don't
huge,
know.
some
right?
right,
It's
some
They are
giant. Like,
huge.
that's huge. It's not. It's not the same thing between like renting a limo and renting a party bus. This is like the difference between renting a limo and renting a 747. Like, who's out here just renting a 747?
I mean, a 747, 787 is only like 80 million.
Only, he says.
No, no.
Only, everybody. It's only near $100 million.
It's fine.
That's reasonable.
But some people have that money. Some
Not
people
me.
have that money. You know,
All right. So, any final thoughts about the Starliner?
It's gonna be a great Airbus.
I think it's like I think it's comparable to the tram system on a planet, right? You're going to get them. Nobody's really going to pay attention to them. It's a good way to kind of anonymously get around because there'd be so many of them going back and forth. You just get on it instead
No,
of
that's
city to
good.
city. You're going planet to moon or planet to planet. You know, and there's
Because
so
you're
many
doing
going.
dirt
It's
and
hard
you're
for
trying to get
somebody to assassinate you.
around. Right.
Yeah, because it's not just one. There'll be 100 a day going or something.
Because of Younique, I just thought of the song "The Double Dutch Bus" from the '80s. Not many people probably know that song. That just showing my age. But the Double Dutch Bus, the Double Dutch Starliner now.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be airplane.
All right, so moving on. Mercury Starliner. Gigi, let's start with you. Mercury Starliner. Any thoughts?
Is it supposed to be a blockade runner, if I'm correct? Is
I
that what
believe
it is?
so.
Yes.
I can't lie to you. I don't know very much about it besides a few, like quick punches of information about it. Never done any real research on it. But if it's a blockade ship, I would need more information, honestly, to tell you
Okay.
whether or not it was going to be. I can't lie through my teeth and tell you I know. I don't, because I haven't done a lot of research on
That's
that.
fair. That's fair. How about you, Tim?
I love this ship. I can't wait for it to come out. I think it's what 312.
Tim is ready.
Right? I'm ready. And I think the cool thing about the Star Runner is that it has that it's built as a blockade runner and collecting data. It's fast. It can fight. And based on some of the pictures we've seen, like it might have a like so you the data piece having that server room in the Star Runner is pretty cool, but the cargo and the smuggling aspect, right, will be awesome. So full disclosure, all Origin ships, all CMU ships, Crusader ships. So these are good.
Hashtag sponsored.
Just has. I gotta stop that. Look, the Star Runner is just particularly great, and I think it's going to serve a really good purpose. Now, the only thing I'll say is that because the Star Runner is very popular in the community, there's a lot of people that have been waiting for it. There's a lot of people who got brought in deeper to Star Citizen or introduced to Star Citizen with the concept of the Star Runner. The idea is you're going to see a lot of these things in the verse when it comes out. J2 says it's 311. Sorry, thank you, J2. It's 311, not 312. But when it finally hits, you're going to see a lot of them. So they could be high targets, right? Or they could be a way that people really started exploring piracy in the verse. I don't know. It's going to be a great change, but because you have smuggling and you have data running and you have cargo and you have combat, even though some of these gameplay loops aren't online yet, you're still going to be able to have a ship that can do that when it comes out. So I think that's what makes this Star Runner a good multi-purpose deal. And don't forget, I think the other thing too that we may have neglected on the other ones, not the beta because that doesn't count, right? That's just trash shit. Being able to upgrade components, right? So if you get some best in slots on those things, it might make it a little bit more useful. But this one, you could upgrade the Star Runner as well. Well, once we actually a lot of it. Yeah, I can't. I need to pull it up right now in regards to like the heart points and whatnot. But it can be upgraded, and I think that's what makes it very attractive for a lot of people who are kind of mid game and want something like, let's get out there and do a couple of different things, right? And I think this would be a good ship to do that.
And Younique.
Oh, yeah. So unlike the Mustang, this is the opposite. This ship, end to end, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, is an amazing purchase. It looks great. I think it's got a great, unique look to it. It does many different things, and with the upgrades, it does those many things well. I would say a good path from the Avenger. If you purchased an Avenger and did several things, this would be your scale up ship. Like if you just said, "Oh, yeah, I'm really into cargo," you would vector off. But if you sort of wanted to keep that multi-purpose thing, but be a little bit better pilot and a little bit more edgy and throw some pirating in your way, this is where you would leap to. This is the ship to leap to. It's just hands down. And the liveries on them, mine is black. Yep. Yeah. It's happening. It's just happening.
I would kind of disagree. I'll put a point in between the Avengers Titan and the Stone. I'll probably put a freelancer in there somewhere.
Oh
But
boy,
that's just me. But yeah.
Really?
You
But,
just
I
had
mean,
to-
from a cargo aspect, but I don't think it would. It doesn't fight that well. Like Avenger
No,
fights well. This thing fights well.
we have to
Right.
have this conversation with the next ship, because if you're talking
Yeah.
about the upgrade between from an Avenger to the age-old question, what should I get into after I have this starter ship? I'm trying to get my next starship. There's only a couple ships that pop into the minds of vets, right? And I think 2 of them are on this list right now. So yeah, I mean we can get there, but FC, continue. I didn't want to jump in there.
No, that's it. I think this is the step. If you love the Avenger, inside and out, and now you're ready for a bigger ship, bigger cargo, want to keep your fight on, get a little bit of smuggling in it so you get more cargo running kind of things. The data running is a new aspect to it. Just thinking about going from an Avenger up, I think this is the ship. That's me. I just think that's the ship.
All right, no problem. I mean, I was just gonna put a different, a medium ship, a ship in between them, but that's just me. But as far as my thoughts about the Star Runner, I keep running for the Starliner, but the Star Runner, I'm the same as GG. I don't have, I like the look of it. I think it looks awesome. Like, I mean, if I were to buy a ship purely on just the aesthetics and look, I would definitely get the whole line of these from the manufacturer, but it's not my play style. Like I mean, for Block 8 winner, I have the merchantman for information things, and that's not my thing. But yeah, if that is your thing, then yes, I would say this definitely qualifies undoubtedly as a multi-purpose ship.
Yeah, but the Merchantman is way bigger than this ship. It's not a step. This is in between the Merchantman, in my opinion. Yeah, so if he's keeping with Block 8 runner, you would go from this to
I wasn't
Merchantman.
saying, yeah, I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying, like, for me, like, for multi-purposes, for me, I think the Merchantman suit my play style better than the Star Runner. That's all. Any final thoughts on the Star Runner? All right, Caterpillar. Let's start with 10. What are your thoughts on the Caterpillar?
So Drake's offerings are pretty cool. I know Drake has a more seedier reputation inside of the verse, but the Caterpillar is one of those ships that I think is 2 steps removed for your typical cargo hauler, or I should say your trucker or your cargo career, because that thing carries what 400 500 SEU of cargo,
A
and
whole buttload.
yeah, like in the
575.
575, right? So the cool thing about the Caterpillar is that it's ready for cargo, right? It's ready for transport. Now here's the thing: I would argue when it comes to transport of like because of how rugged Drake is, if you're thinking about transport of troops, or like PMCs or anything like that, like I would probably consider a Valk over a Caterpillar. But if I had a Caterpillar in my fleet and I was part of a group that did a little bit of everything in the verse, I think this would be a really cool large scale workhorse for a an organization. So you have cargo, you have troop transport, and you also have combat, right? And like ship to ship combat. And I think it does all those okay. Obviously, the cargo is the best bang for the buck for the Caterpillar. But I think there is down the road that those different bays that the Caterpillar has are going to be modular. So this thing is actually going to be really cool to have in the future, where you can switch out components and kind of tailor the Caterpillar to be what you really want it to be. Right now, we're just looking at a pure cargo variant, but you can the mission with the prisoner transport a few like patches ago, we saw Caterpillars that were kind of tweaked out to do different kinds of things. So this is a great ship. I think this is a real true multi-purpose ship that a lot of people in the verse do have, and I think it serves a good purpose. So I don't have one, but it's I like it. It's a cool ship.
For my opinion about the Caterpillar, I think it'd be great if you it's a really cheap way to just have like multiple guns, if whether it be people or maybe automated projectiles. Just open up the cargo, have people shooting at whatever target is out there, and in cargo obviously. But other than that, yeah, I don't think it's too much of a multi-purpose in my opinion, and. I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of Drake, but Drake is probably my least favorite manufacturer in the Star Citizen universe. So that's for me. That's something against it. But yeah, I mean the only Drake ship I have is the Drake Dragonfly. So that's it. Let that tell you.
That thing.
Yeah, that thing. So yeah, and for multi-purpose, yeah, I don't see that. How about you, Gigi?
I mean, is it multi-purpose? Yes, of course it is. You just have to look at what it is and what it does, and it does a million different things. There's, like you said, the giant cargo running. You know what I mean? And it's also supposed to be extremely modular, so you're going to be able to up a lot of stuff. You're going to be able to better your armor and things like that. I wouldn't buy one. It's huge. There's no way I could maneuver that thing. Probably when I get my HOTAS better together, you know what I mean? Then it might be an option. But as of right now, on my mouse and keyboard, while I'm still playing with my HOTAS settings, there's no way I could fly that thing. It's not even a possibility. I slam into everything. But I would purchase one in the future, yeah.
Younique?
Oh yeah, I'm on the fence on this ship. Actually, when they first announced it, I was all about it, and was very caught up in how they designed it, put it together, and were struggling to get it to be modular, which made me believe at the time. So I put in an order and I got one, and then as soon as it came out, I was like, "Yeah, let's go see how we can put this thing together." And while they made it a fit together, they added no gameplay for you to use the modularity of it. So
Yeah.
right now, it's just a hauler. I mean, I like the idea that it could be a hospital ship, and to fit it out like that. Possibly some, and there's plenty of modules that they can come up with for doing, research and things and outer space type of, who knows what kind of
Yeah,
farming.
you could do
and,
like search and rescue missions probably in the game.
yeah, right. But as it sits right now, I was pretty disappointed that all you kind of do is fly around this hard to fly ship. It's hard to fly. It's hard to see where you're going because of the way you can pop off and escape, and which is a nifty feature too. Yet you still can't do it in the game. So everything it's great at doing, it doesn't do. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sort of
that's
disturbs me.
the
about a
operative
lot of
word.
stuff
I
in
would
the
like
game.
one with the purple and white livery, just because.
Mm.
So I mean,
That's fair.
just up to date. If you have a caterpillar, you're getting shot at because you got a whole bunch of cargo and you're probably a pirate on top of it. So you're probably transporting drugs and people just descend on you. There's nothing else to do.
Don't stereotype. They're perfectly
I'm not.
legitimate great owners.
It's a fine thing to do in the game. Somebody's got to do it. But if it's the only thing to do, there's no guessing. There's just no guessing.
So I'm going to do a quick PSA. People are PMing in Twitch about the giveaway. I think that's going to come close to the end. But you want to do it tonight, or you want to do it in the future? All right, the producers have told us the top of the hour, so just stick around for that. All right.
In 3 minutes or the next hour? In 3 minutes. Okay, so he'll announce how we're going to pull this off. So he's got the hard job. I got the easy job.
Right, we just get to sit here and be pretty. He has to do work.
Yeah. Well, I have to acquire the ship we're going to give away, but that's okay.
So I don't think there's any final thoughts about the caterpillar.
Yeah,
All right.
Wait and see. I want to wait and see.
All right. So Drake Corsair. Drake Corsair. What do you think about that, Younique?
The Corsair. Ugh. I revealed my cards. Sorry. Go ahead, Younique. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. So I like the idea when they did the wing, as a concept art. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, But the more and more you think about, hey, how realistic is this game? If it's out there and it's fighting and one of these wings gets shot off on the thing, all the way to the crash site, that's just the thing, is it can't fly in atmosphere if the wing's gone. Much like the Aurora supposedly magically flies in atmosphere, but it has no wing. Okay, well, somewhere in the reality of reality is Chris Roberts' reality. And then it's just another, I think it's just a reshaped miss, basically. So I'm not sure it's a different ship.
Yeah.
Now, is it multi-purpose? Sure. I think it's multi-purpose.
Yeah,
we're gonna leave.
But I'm not excited.
No, we're gonna leave 10 be last in this one because I know he had opinions on this one. So
feelings that he needs to
he
get
got
out
feelings
the
exactly.
right?
So we think GG is about to.
Tim's got a Mustang on it. He's gonna do a Mustang on it.
It is. I think that it's multi-purpose. I also think it sucks. So yeah. I give it, the accolades of its multi-purpose, but also, why would you purchase one?
No love for Drake tonight.
Little to no cargo space. It's a giant fucking box with like some triangles stuck on the side. What else does it do besides slide? It's great for exploration. It's gonna get you where you're going for quite a while. But there's other ships that can do what it does and do it better. So then what's the point of it?
I think Gigi called it a ship made with Legos. Flip triangles on the side, you got a box.
Just kind of stuck stuff together. And like Younique said, almost like we said, the Aurora is a flying brick. It's just like a brick, and then they stuck a kite on the top and was like, "There you go, yay!" I'll pass.
It doesn't matter
Yeah,
when you're in
but
space.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
before
that
10,
atmosphere.
before 10th, my quick opinion is similar to Gigi. It's not my thing. It's Drake. Nah. Some people may like the asymmetrical look of it, and whether that it's symmetrical or asymmetrical. I'm just gonna stop using that word. That didn't really bother me for look wise, but as far as Kimmy said, don't judge FC. But as far as multi-purpose, sure. Would I buy it? No.
Nah.
Not even in PR.
Sure
Right, like,
not.
nah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, go
All right.
ahead,
So
Ted,
here's
get it
the
off
thing.
your
I
last
was
but
gonna
not
I just
least.
need to say this.
All right,
I just
gonna
have to
sit back.
say,
Go ahead.
look, why, Drake? I don't understand. I don't get why this happened, right? Like, okay, so you're talking about the interior of these ships, okay? Sorry, the exterior of the ship with the asymmetrical wing and all this kind of stuff, right? But you're building it to be, what did they say? They want it to be an explorer ship for Drake. They want it.
Yeah.
I think that was what they wanted it to do. What was keeping and so I don't know how it scales with like the Connies, right? Which is like what I think of when you think about those like kind of mid-range explorers, and more recently like the Carrack, right? This ship does none of that, right? And when you look at the trailer, we don't know what it does because it hasn't come out yet. It wasn't introduced like in 2 years ago or something like that. Like I don't know when, but like
Yeah,
when
that's about right.
that's about right. So
Yeah.
so the idea is that you have all these exploration ships, and how CIG is building out exploration inside of the verse. And to me, it was why would you give Drake an exploration type of ship, right? Now I can understand, you might say, yeah, well, it could be for pirate operations that are kind of jumping system to system and long range kind of things. But pirates usually hunker down in one system, and just it's high traffic, and they're just taking tax on everybody that's coming through it, right? At least that's how I've come to understand it. And Drake, this doesn't fit the mold. It doesn't have that appeal, especially with everything else in Drake's lineup, especially the Cutlass Black, that makes this Corsair worth the exploration price, right? This thing came out for like $300 some odd, and you can get a Cutlass Black for $100. And this thing is a workhorse. So you're telling me I'm paying $200 premium to have a ship that looks like trash, and that is supposed to be an exploration type of ship, and you haven't really baked that out because it came out 2 years ago. This thing needs to be reworked, right? You haven't heard anything about the Corsair since you paid the money for the concept ship 2 years ago, and they have said nothing about it. And they've introduced how many more concept ships have actually made it to release? Thank you, a bunch, right? You can count a bunch, right? So it's trash. It needs to be redone.
Tell
It
them how
looks
you
terrible.
really feel,
Yeah.
sir. He said it's
Exactly. Stealing my line. This is why he went last.
it's trash. Like, I don't know what else you want from me.
You gotta do better.
Continue on.
This is something you
Continue
gotta do
on.
better on. You gotta do better on this one. Gotta do better
I
on
don't
this one.
think-
Everything else is great. You know?
I'm just waiting for Tim to start snapping his fingers all over the place.
He gonna get y'all a GG neck roll in a minute. He gonna be like,
all right. I think you have anything to add before we can move on.
No.
He just said, no.
I'm trying to pretend it didn't exist. I'm actually not happy it's on in my face right now. I just It's not a good ship.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
do it.
Sorry, I'm
So,
laughing. The producer is
for the
just
raffle,
speaking in
the
our ear.
keyword is exclamation beta.
Exclamation
Shift
point
one on your
beta.
keyboard, exclamation point beta, and you can enter the raffle. Of course, no one's gonna do it because everybody knows that ship is trash. So.
Oh, I tried to be a joke and put a period in front of it. Oh, we got 2 people. 2 people won it.
Hey.
You know, 2 people.
That's
Good luck to you in the verse.
Yeah, see,
I-
Shadow Valorian ended with me. He said, "No, it's a good ship." See,
It's gonna be
we got some people in
100%
there.
working ship, and I guarantee it'll take you all the way to the crash site each and
Yeah.
every time.
I see where Admiral is going with this. Admiral asks, "Is it LTI?" These are the vets. Watch out for the vets because the vets will ask about LTI because they are trying. That's a token. That's a token. That thing is not staying.
I know
in
they're
very
just
long.
trying to token it, right? No, so.
All right. So the next up in the lineup is the Court Cutlass Black. I'll start with this one. I don't own one. It's one of the first, like one of the original ships, if I recall correctly, like in at least 2013 or maybe 2012. But you know, it's been around for a long time, and they recently, no, not recently, a couple of years ago, they reworked it. The black specifically, they reworked the red and the blue more recently. I like the newer version better than the older version, but it's still not something I would get. It's great. It doesn't have a toilet. But as far as multi-purpose, it's a fighter. It can carry people. Well, everything can carry people, but it can carry multiple people. It's a multi-person ship. And you can put a whole bunch of stuff in it. Or you can put the new rock in it. Because they have the package with the rock and the cutlass back together. So those two go together. So you can carry ships and vehicles in it. Specifically vehicles. Dragonfly, you can carry that in it too. So yeah, I would definitely classify it as a multi-purpose. But it definitely had more utility than the red or the blue, which is more specialized. But it's not something I would get. How about you, Gigi? You muted?
GG out there? She, lost her.
Okay, let's go on to the 10th.
Yeah, while Gigi gets settled. The Drake Black is the workhorse of Star Citizen. I like this thing. It can fight. It can carry. It can do cargo. It can, like you just said, FC. It can store ships. It can do. It's one of those ships that when you're asking, we talked about earlier, when you're asking that question, what should I upgrade to out of my starter ships, right? If I were to upgrade a star or acquire another ship, you're immediately thinking about the Cutlass Black, and you're immediately thinking about the base Freelancer, right? And depending on how you want to go, you might decide whether you go with a Freelancer Max or just a regular Freelancer in terms of cargo. But the Drake can do both of those very well. Of course, it doesn't have as much cargo as a Freelancer does, but this thing can still hold a lot of weight, and it can really get around. When you fully deck out this thing and you change out the quantums and you change out the guns, and you change out the top turret and everything like that, it's a beast. It's really, really great. And so I think when multi-purpose, absolutely. Usefulness is probably the highest. And what I would say is like usefulness in this multi-purpose, in the multi-purpose aspect, because a lot of ships that do multi-purpose kind of do everything at a lower level, but it's wide, not deep, right? Obviously, but I think Drake is one of those ones that rises above the rest when it comes to a small group or even solo play that is multi-purpose in nature. Right now, you're not going to be able to mine and things like this, which is fine, right? But you can get access to a lot of other gameplay loops troop transport, cargo, combat, all kinds of things. And this is the ship to do it in. And I really like it. So it's actually in my buybacks right now. But this ship is, I feel is iconic inside of the verse just because of how useful it is.
Is it in your buyback for LTI or just normal version?
I would have to check actually.
Okay. Gigi,
It
are
might
you
be
back now?
LTA.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back. What do you thought
Yep,
about
you're
the
back.
color black?
All right. So it's definitely multi-purpose. It's a fighter, probably mid-fighter, mid-freighter. It's Jesus, it does everything. Honestly, like really, it's I don't have one. I want one,
No,
but
you
it's
do.
definitely I do. I know. I want a ship. Who would have thunk it?
Exactly.
But I do. I want one. It's got that mounted tractor beam on it, and it's gonna be able to facilitate search and rescue. And considering the kind of like secondary gameplay that I like to play, I like to usually do supporting roles. I could definitely be down with a search and rescue situation. Totally down for Cutlass Black. Probably going to be one of the next ships I buy.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I would, you need to step away, but when I was thinking
I'm
about
here.
an upgrade between the Ability Titan to the Star Runner, I said freelancer, but you're right. This is also a ship you can upgrade in between that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Younique, what are your thoughts about the Cutlass Black?
Oh my goodness, this ship is amazing. When I first got the Cutlass Black, the first version of it, and flew it around a bit, hated the cockpit so much I melted the thing down, and I was going with the freelancer, but then they reworked it. I picked back up out of melt, and yeah, I just love it. There's no way I'm melting it again. Good size, not too big, not too small. It's a great
That's right.
frame. Yeah, just a great frame, as you can see from the hospital version of it and the police version of it. It's a workhorse. It's a good upgrade from a lot of the smaller ships on the list. Either any of the versions that you want to pick up, if you want to kind of split off into a specialty career kind of thing. But if all purpose around, the Cutlass Black is the ship.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes,
All right, you
there was a
guys,
raffle
one more
going.
time. Oh, go ahead, Fastcart.
There's a
Okay.
raffle going on. Exclamation point beta to enter to win a Mustang beta. So if you haven't done that, go ahead. I'll type it in again. For the next ship, we have, as far as I know, our last Drake ship is the Drake Kraken Privateer. Gigi, is going to start with you on this one. What do you think about the Privateer?
I'll pass.
You pass on
I know
buying
it's
one
like
because it
a-
costs
it's
too much, or the whole thing?
Have y'all seen the price tag on this thing? Listen. Okay. This thing is, I think, $2,000. LMAO. No effing way. Absolutely not. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I love Star Citizen, but at the end of the day, these are pretty JPEGs. I am not spending $2,000 for a beautiful JPEG. It is not going to happen. Clearly, it's multi-role. Like, it's listed as multi-role. That's part of what they are selling it as. We know that it does all the things, but bro, at what cost? $2,000 is the cost. Nah.
All right, so we're an hour and 14 minutes into the show. This is when GG gets loud. Who had
Did you
who
start? I mean,
this
okay, so y'all
embedded
play
to
stop
it?
bet. You knew it was gonna happen. Okay. Everybody knew I was gonna get loud at some point, and it usually comes down to when these ships cost too much damn money. At $2,000 is just a gnaw. You could buy a
And this
beat
is
up car
Gigi.
for $2,000.
And this is Gigi's turn. You're being too subtle. Tell us how you really feel.
Tell me how you really feel. Right, okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Younique, what do you think about the Privateer?
Oh, it's amazing. I own one. So
Oh, you do? Wow. You
got
paid
the
the money for it.
modification.
I should
What?
have known. I could have put a receipt up and knew he had one.
You know. Hello.
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah,
We
we
got
got
you.
you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Just everybody stopped. Lost the audio in my ear. So anyway, I got the Kraken. I think it's a good balance up against the Idris, which I also have one,
Mhm.
and I have the regular Kraken, but I have the modification to take it to the privateer. So
Oh, you have the
I'm
CG.
gonna wait and see when it comes out, and then
Ah,
see, you know. So because I'm not sure if you apply the modification to it that you can undo it. I'm not
what,
sure
what
yet.
would change your mind to not apply the modification? What would not make you melt the CCU to it?
Just how much usefulness it is, because you got to take away a bunch of cargo space to make the privateer happen. And then if it's not really that usable, that practical for people to be chasing this thing around space and finding it as a base to actually come to and buy and sell things, right? So if you're not
Yeah.
actually doing that, then it's not making you money, and it might as well just be the death machine that it's originally intended to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
if
How
you
about you,
say
Ted? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
if you latch onto a planet deep into space, this might be something to keep up and around or up in orbit to support that planet where your people are hanging out. So you can build a base and you got a couple thousand people in your group, in your organization running around, and you need something out there to do that. That could be it then.
That's exactly it. I agree with you, Unique, that this ship isn't going to be making those stops down to um, station or planet side. It's going to do some docking. It's going to be kind of positioned in space, especially with it having those having the landing pads on it. And then it's at multi-purpose. Absolutely, you got the landing pads. You have the internal hangars. So you kind of have. I'd love to see. I don't know if they talked about it, but like having a repair aspect for those internal hangars. I think we saw in the pictures them working on like dragonflies or something like that. So that'd be really cool to have. And then you have there's a low level med facility in there. Got all the shops, both public and private. I think there's 8 public and 2 private, where you can do some of the smuggling deals in typical Drake fashion. But for me, I own the ship as well. And it came at this time in my life, chat and team, where I was trying to figure out, do I want to BMM or not? And I was watching Citizen Con, and they introduced this beast. I was like, I gotta have it. And so I did.
And so
I
you
did
did
it.
it. You did
But
the
look,
of course
I
you
did the thing, and I don't regret it.
like
I could.
I don't believe you would regret it. It's an amazing ship. I
But
don't
here it
believe
is.
anybody would regret the purchase. But
Right,
it's
you
just
can't.
also
Like
$10,000.
it's almost like you can't. Like to Gigi's point, right? When I was looking at this thing, I'm like, damn, like two. Well, I paid War Bond, so it was like I think it's like 1,700 or something
1,700,
like
yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
and like I was looking, I'm like, man, like what won't they? When does this stop? Where's the line, right? Like I know.
Where the madness ends?
We're asking you that.
And
You're
then,
the one
and,
paying
and,
it.
then,
When did the
and then I
madness stop?
and then I just
Where
hand
is
the
the
cash
line
over.
in the sand?
I say to myself, when does the madness stop? Where's the line? I just hand my cash over, and I'm like, you know what? I'll find
This
the
ain't
line
it,
later.
evidently. Gigi, this
I'll
ain't it.
find the line. I'll
Hey!
find the line later. I'll just give me the ship. I'll find the line later. I ask myself these questions later. But totally, I can't wait for the ship to come out. Again, it's another ship they have to get right, because of how multi-purpose it is. And I think it'll be a great addition to any org. And I say org because this is probably gonna, not probably, it's going to cost too much to run for a very small team, right? To keep that thing put in space, the fuel costs and all this kind of thing. You're going to have the capital or be able to carry the cost of ownership in the game. So, yeah, it's a great ship. I like it. I think if I would have had a Kraken in the past, I would have done exactly what Younique is doing and kind of biding time to see how it might roll, and then say, okay, maybe I'll use the upgrade. But I was just further down the road, and this was for me. It was, and we talked about this before, but for me, it was a logical jump because of the way I want to play the game. I want to have a lot of ships that create cash or create UAC for me in the game. So this is going to be a really cool one to do that with.
Yeah, I love the idea that an organization could go out deep in space, find a moon or a small planet or something, and this can be your space station. You just park it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's your space station.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Very
I just want to say that I love everyone here, but I just have to say this is not Pokemon. You don't just gotta have it because it's no. You gotta
You
put it
gotta
out.
catch them all, y'all. You just don't.
You don't have to catch them
didn't.
all. That's all I'm gonna say. I
I
love you
didn't
guys.
catch a
though.
Mustang
I
beta.
love you guys.
Didn't catch a
I
Mustang
love you.
beta.
Say I did not catch
Beta
that
is
beta. I
only
know
like
Didn't
that.
catch it.
$45.
Didn't go
This is
looking
like
for it.
$2,000.
Younique's like, I'm throwing it back in there.
Didn't
Did catch it.
magnitude above
Didn't
it.
catch it.
My thought
Right.
is,
Okay. But also, fastcart. You're saying all
Yeah.
that, but you own a merchantman.
yeah, that's how I was gonna say. I own a merchantman.
So really, the only person here with a leg to stand on is moi. All of y'all done spent too much money on Star.
Oh, that's okay. I don't need a leg. I have my cart. I have my cart right here. I don't need a leg.
Yeah, all those with that new merchantman can come and land it on my privateer. So you can refill yourself and
I'm not sure
I'm
that the
staring at
merchantman
you,
may be
Tim,
too big for the
with your
privateer.
whole origin
All
tweet.
joking aside, the merchantman may be too big for the privateer. But
You
what I
can
was
dock.
gonna say is,
Just dock.
You had to make the sound.
you almost
Was the
stole my
sound
point from
effect
me.
necessary?
But Gigi almost stole my point for me. You guys, I do have a merchantman. Probably my first big ship that I bought in 2015.
Yeah, but how much does that cost? How much does that cost?
It
It's
was
like $350.
Well, mine is
250, right?
$240 because I use discount and stuff like that. But I didn't pay the $350 for it. But I
got it when it first came out. It was like $250-ish.
Mm-hmm. So and it's growing in size. So when the privateer came out, I told the story a few years ago. I'll tell it again. Privateer come out, and I was like, oh, interesting. A bigger Bazaar class ship, like the Merchantman. I want to know more information about it. They're hyping it up, and the information came out, and I'm like, it's how much? I'm all right. I'm going to keep my Merchantman. I'm happy with my Merchantman. Yeah, it's all right. It was like literally almost 10 times the price of $250. So I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to keep my Merchantman.
I saw it and I was like, oh, it's so nice. It's so wonderful. And I'm like reading all the specs on it and going down a list of everything that it does. And I'm like, this is going to be expensive. And I'm in my head, I'm like, this is going to be expensive. It's going to be like $1,200, $1,300. That was me version of expensive, right? And then RSI was like,
hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Okay. LOL. No. 1,700, 2,000. Figure it out.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I'm gonna tell y'all the truth here. I bought the Kraken when it first was like announced, and I didn't know they were going to do the privateer module. And it does sound good that I was hedging my bets and doing that in the future, but that's actually not the truth. I hate the Dragonfly so much because it had the 4 bays. I bought that thing simply because I needed to be able to get rid of those Dragonfly bays. I think they're completely useless. That's why I bought that module. So that's the God's honest truth. So if I get in there and I can't use those bays for anything else other than Dragonflies, they're gone.
Wow, that's your limit? That's your limit?
That's it. That's the whole thing. Yeah, but that's the truth. Just letting you know. All
right. So that's let's move on.
Next year.
That was the last Drake ship until I mentioned. So let's move on to the Endeavor. Again, this is like Manny Richmond. I'm gonna go last on the Endeavor. So let's start with Tent. What are your thoughts on the Endeavor?
I like the Endeavor. I think the thing that makes Endeavor clearly multi-purpose is all the modules you can get with it. There's so many modules. And I have an Endeavor for my wife. I don't have all the parts to it. She's kind of focused on medical gameplay. So we got the medical bed and the pod, and then she had another one like I think like the science one or something like that. But this is a great ship. I can't wait to see it and how they put it together. But for like all my friends out there who have like then all the modules and you can mix and match, do all this kind of stuff. This is one of those ships that's going to be the basis for many types of organizations. So I love it, and I want to see more from the crew on the Endeavor. I know it's probably not coming until later on, not sure when, soon, TM. But here's one thing I will say though, or maybe it's more of a question, but multi-purpose, absolutely. We'll learn more about kind of the career aspect of it later, but does the Endeavor, and maybe I don't know, Griff can tell us, but does the Endeavor fit the MISC brand, right? You might not have that much time to discuss it, but I've always wondered, like, man, would I like to see the Endeavor in any other brand? Like, could it have fit somewhere else? So, just a big question, because of how multi-purpose it is. I guess it's just maybe a question I pose, but I definitely like the ship, and I think it'll be awesome when it releases.
Tiff just wants it to be an origin ship.
Yeah, secretly, I would have
Basically.
loved
Secretly,
Right.
this should have been an origin ship.
Basically, like I mean,
Or-
I like
or a
it, but it's not
Crusader.
Origin, so I don't know if I like it.
So I gave it to my wife.
Younique, what are your thoughts?
I love this ship. As soon as they brought it out, I bought the whole package, full multiple things, and
master
then
set?
extras. The macros, the micro snappy set where you can pop everything together, and then I bought an extra couple of ones, so because you can put 2 farms on it if you wanted to configure it that way. There was something else you could do, so I made sure you could really outfit it as a good hospital thing outside of a big war zone. And then about a year and a half after buying it, I melted it because it was so far out and still so far out in the gameplay. And I'm not sure that they've gotten any kind of inkling yet about what this deep space exploration stuff is going to be. So I kind of put those exploration ships to sleep, put them in the melt, put the money towards things like the Kraken for now. If they do manifest themselves, it'll be a great ship to have, no doubt. It's probably the most modular, multi-purpose ship. You could truly snap it together and make it do what you want. Don't forget, it's got the engineering station so that you can improve items like weapons and engines and stuff. If they put that in the game, that'll be way cool.
Yeah.
And I want to do it. It's the only ship that you can go close to a sun because of its armor and stuff. Want to do that. Want to go check out black holes. Will the game actually get all that stuff? I have no idea. So
That's cool.
maybe it'll become the next Mustang Beta for me. That's all I can say. If they don't put it in the game, it's useless, right?
Fair enough, yeah.
GG, what are your thoughts on Endeavor?
Oh, I think, like everybody else, when it comes out, it'll be great. It's definitely multi-purpose. It's probably the most multi-purpose ship in the verse once it is released. If I'm correct, I know it does research, it does medical support, it does science, it does agriculture. It's got the med hangar. Oh, right. Thanks. The hangar, and then also, doesn't the front command unit come off?
Yeah, it comes off.
Yeah.
It's separate.
So right, if and when we get the ship, it will be perfect for people who like to play multi-purpose, who have a multi-purpose playing style. But up until we get it, like Younique said, it's really just an expensive paperweight. So we'll see. Watch this space.
All right, so for me, it's like, this is like my second favorite big ship. I bought this probably a couple of years after its concept, but I got some of the multi-month. I bought it the anniversary, so I have like 48 months or whatever. And I don't have LTI on it, unfortunately. But I do have a couple of the modules. I didn't get the master set because that was like, way too much for me. But I got the base set and a couple of modules. For me, I want to use it to manufacture stuff. I'm gonna manufacture stuff in the Endeavor and sell it on my Michigan.
Yeah.
That's my plan. I'll take it for the
That's a good
follow
idea.
time on mine.
That's a fair situation going on. But see, you went into it with a plan. You know what I mean? So you didn't just decide, oh, I'm gonna get it and then wait and see what happens. For people who bought it, because they really liked it and now they're just waiting to see what kind of gameplay CIG creates around the ship, it's a waste of money and time for them right now. It just is. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you doing with it besides having paid for it and looking at it occasionally when you get the itch to go look at something you paid for?
Yes, as far as when it will come out, it may not come out till after the game launch. Like the game may launch
Right.
without this being in game. And also another point, and this is Ben Lectic, baby. He's the one with the idea for it. A modular ship with and everything. So that's another point in this paper. But yes, it is multi-purpose. I have one. I can't wait to get it. Whether I want this more than the merchantman, it depends on the day. I want most days I want the merchantman more. Some days maybe I want to have some functionality that with the module that I'll come with it. And who knows? What I will do, I might one day, if I can get something to as the LTI token, convert it to LTI. But I'm fine with the multi-month thing that I have with it right now.
Yep.
Any other final thoughts on the Endeavor?
Great ship.
Great ship.
All right.
Give it to us.
So, so freelancer. I'm gonna start with Younique on the freelancer. What are your thoughts on the freelancer?
The Wobbly Goblin. Yeah, it's a nice ship. They pretty much outside the miss is great for cargo. Transporting stuff. That's about it. That's what I use it for. A lot more stuff when I gotta transport more stuff than the Cutlass Black. So I use it for that. Can take a pretty good beating, but you're kind of just running from stuff. You're not really fighting stuff a lot. Although I've done a couple bounties in it, so it does hit hard if you sneak up on somebody. But if you're not in as a surprise, you're kind of in for a big fight, So that's about it.
All right, fair enough. Gigi, thoughts on the freelancer?
Okay, so I have a friend who is not going to be happy with me unless I say, y'all better put VTOL on the freelancer.
I wonder who this friend is.
Okay, Melvillus, if you are out there, honey, I know, I feel your pain. This man wants VTOL on his freelancer. That was why he bought it in the commercial. And his feelings
He
are
bought it in the commercial. Before the
And
commercial
he's not
finished,
going
he was
to be
buying it.
okay, he is very unhappy. But that being said, yeah, it's multi-purpose. I have one on a loaner right now, but I don't own one. I haven't bought one. I've flown it around. It's a little rough to fly. Worth it for the cargo and things like that. And then you can put like your smaller vehicles and whatnot on it, which is also nice. But for me, I just don't. It's not the kind of gameplay that I like to play. It's not. I probably wouldn't purchase one, but it's nice to have. If you just, like I said, I got one on loan, so it's nice to have it on loan. But I'm not gonna buy one. It is multi-purpose though, fully.
Yep, I agree. It is multi-purpose. I don't own the base freelancer. I own the MIS version, the military version with all the missiles and stuff. But yes, I agree. It is multi-purpose. I'm not a fan of the cockpit view, but given that it does do so much, that's a trade-off I'm willing to put up with, and more than a few others are willing to trade up with. You mentioned your buddy Mel. I had to mention my buddy Eris. couple of weeks ago, last week we had him on talking about the freelancer. He is dying for the other version, the slide 2 of the freelancer brand. He's hoping that CIG will come around and put that out. But I'm happy with the current one. I'm keeping my MIS. So yeah, it's multi-purpose and it does what it needs to do. I like the aesthetic of it of this more than the black, so that's why I went. That's another reason why I went with the freelancer MIS. We have always and people here. I'm over MIS, MISC manufactured kind of guys. So sponsored hashtag. Hashtag sponsored. So I did that backwards. 10. What are your thoughts on the freelancer?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just wrap it up. I know the freelancer it's a really great ship, and I don't own one, but whenever I do get into a freelancer, I'm like, oh, this is a great ship. And then I go to the to maybe take a pilot seat or co-pilot seat, and I just cannot get over that dash, guys. Like that dash, I'm like, what's going on here? You know, but. It's a good ship. It's a great hauler. And I think if you have the missile boat like FC does, then that's always a great. Those things hit hard. The Max has a lot of cargo, so it's a great all-arounder. You know, if you kind of really want to go into that vertical with MISC and really be like industrial with your deal, I think MISC is a great entry level. Kimmy says, "Wait, freelancer isn't Origin? No way, buddy." No way.
He almost slapped you through the computer, Kimmy.
No way, buddy. Let's not. I said it's nice. I didn't say it was awesome or great. I notice I said I go into other people's freelancers. Like I don't.
Yeah. Gotta pay attention to the words.
Your whole body snapped back like Origin. How dare you?
Excuse?
Right, like you clutch your pearls. Pardon?
All right. I think that's it for the freelancer. Any final thoughts? Freelancer. All right.
Nah, I love the missile boat.
You know, a lot of love for the missile boat. I thought I was the only one for some reason, but
no. You read did you read the fine print in the brochure that they put out for it?
It's been a long time. I probably did, but I don't remember what did it say.
Oh, it's the only place where it actually mentions that you can double the missiles that are in it with a secondary market. So you can add more missile racks into the thing. So it gives more than the base unit. So this thing can just toss missiles.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. All right. So last but not least, talk about the Starfarer. The Starfarer came out quite a while ago. This is one of the ships where it's easy to get lost in. It's one of the first ships I was able to get lost in. I still got lost. I still don't know my way around that thing. Multi-purpose. There are two variants. I think the second one probably is more multi-purpose than the base one, but I may be wrong on that one. But this one is like the fuel carrier. So it's multi-crew and it's a fuel carrier. And I don't know. I can't really think of another purpose it could have. It's big, but yeah, that's not really a purpose in itself. But I like it. I don't own one. It's not my. I would between this and the whole C. I'll probably get the whole C instead. But yeah. So, what are your thoughts on it, Younique? The Starfarer.
I think the ship is absolutely needed. Multi-purpose? I don't really think so. I mean, it's got one purpose: go out, skim clouds, turn cloud dust into fuel, right, and then refuel ships. So I think it goes along with a fleet that's moving around in space. I think it's immensely great for that. Why you would have a non-military version is beyond me. It's obviously going to be a big target, and it's out there to refuel fleets, so it should be able to combat pretty well as well. So that's why I have the military version and not the civilian version, because that's one of the things. If you're going battle on battle, the enemy is going to come try and take away your fuel supply, because once you run out of fuel, you're done. That and your transport ships, your refuel ships, your hospital ships, deniability, right? They deny you people to the hospital, deny you fuel, and your cargo that's got the food and stuff deny you that. So you can't win the war on attrition. So standard Sun Tzu stuff. But anyway, outside of that, as a refueler, amazing. I think it's amazing.
Very
Hard to
specialized.
fly, but it's good.
What do you think, Tent?
Yeah, I agree. I think you got the refueling aspect, which is by far, this is going to be that career where if you're looking for the support role, or even an org that's looking to build around a support role, you're going to have one of these in your fleet as like as your main ship. You know, you'll be flanked by some vultures and whatnot, and so maybe a crucible or something like that. But this thing is this refueling ship is going to be quintessential. And I think if you put it, if you use it right and you have the right kind of pilot, because this thing's heavy, right? It could be also used for some transport as well. Whether that's, I know you could fit X amount of gray cats in there, X amount of tumbrils. Yeah, definite freight. So, I think it could be used for multi-purpose, but it just by far stands out as the refueling ship that anybody's going to be working their way up towards. And there was something said in the chat earlier. I forgot who might have mentioned it, because I can't see it. I can't scroll up that fast. But the idea of having a multi-purpose ship, we always think that each ship that comes out, we have to buy it, right? Like that you have to get it. But there's also the aspect of earning that ship in the game, right? All the ships should be earnable in the game. So it gives you, someone said that one of the ships would be a great ship to work their way up towards. So I think that allows for people to enjoy the game a bit more. I think for right now, for those who are backing, we're trying to A, support the project, but B, acquire the ships that we want to make money with in the game. And some of these ships might not make their debut until we've raised enough capital ourselves, you know. So Griffin and I talk about the 890 and how much fuel it takes to get that off of a landing pad and into space and you know. We might just be flying around in the 100s and the 300s and the 600s for a while, you know, when the economy is, when it's really rocking and rolling. So you can always work your way up to these ships, and to pick a multi-purpose ship from this list, whether that's a Cutlass Black or a Freelance or a Star Runner, or even this as like, this is what I want my, I want to buy a Starfarer right now, use it for refuel, use it for freight and cargo and running missions and that kind of thing. This could be a great choice, an expensive choice, but one that will be an investment for you.
Gigi?
I'm on the same wavelength as 10th, where can it be used multi-purpose? Yes, but is it an actual multi-purpose ship? Like, was it created to be multi-purpose? And I don't think so. It is definitely a heavy refueler. Like, that is what it is. And I know that the pods are like interchangeable with cargo pods and stuff like that, but the idea that you would take up a Starfarer to do cargo with as much as it would cost to run the Starfarer doesn't make sense. A lot of using it will be an expensive mistake, I think. You know what I mean? So really, it is just a heavy refueler, and it's going to be the best at being a heavy refueler. And along with Younique, I don't know why you wouldn't get the military version, because you're going to need an escort with the military version, because everybody's coming for your fuel supply. But no, it's not multi-purpose. It's just a refueler. And fuel refinery as well, but it's all about the fuel.
So here's my question. Which is the bigger mistake? The Starfarer or the Mustang Beta?
Beta.
Definitely the Mustang Beta.
Definitely the Beta. At least the Starfarer has a purpose.
So the Starfarer gets you into the big wars, right? So if you're new to an organization and you want to prove yourself, the Starfarer is like trying to get into a raid on World of Warcraft or ESO. Be the healer. That's what it is. It's the healer, right? Everybody needs a healer in those big raids and stuff that go on in the first-person shooters and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not the most glamorous thing, but you're in the game, not sitting on the sidelines. So start out being one of the refuelers, be a good pilot, don't blow up, get the ships refueled on time, get promoted in your org, get in bigger and better things. I don't see why this ship isn't a great career stepping along the line inside of an organization that's big into the game and fighting.
My only counter to that is that the Starfare is a $200 mistake. The Mustang Beta is only like $50 or $45. So yeah, that's my only comeback for that one.
But the Starfare is not actually a mistake. It has a purpose. Like there is something that it does and does well. Find me the thing the Beta does and does well, and I will find you a lie.
So
before we work,
here's the leader of any org in the game. Any org in the game. I've got a choice. I can ask somebody to bring the Starfare or ask somebody to bring the Mustang Beta.
Okay, fine.
One thing is not like the other. Matter of fact, one thing is never going to get asked for.
All right. So after the Starfare, we have honorary mention, and I'll start out with the 300 series. Maybe not one specifically, but altogether, I can consider them. What was that? Okay, so yes, so yeah, the 300 series for me. It may not. I have the 315P. That's the touring and the exploration variant. But the 300i by itself, yeah, I would consider that multi-purpose. It's as much multi-purpose as the Avenger Titan, in my opinion. And how about Gigi? What do you honorary mention?
Now, if I was gonna have an honorary mention, it would have been the Titan, but the Titan's on the list, so I'm good.
Honorary mentions. Okay.
All right, 10.
Well, FC, you stole all my honorary mentions. Just just throw Origin in there as the honorary mention for a ship manufacturer.
Right, I'm like, he's just gonna plug Origin one more time, and he didn't fail me.
The whole series, not one ship. The whole series.
Throw the whole manufacturer in there.
Fail me, buddy.
But here's what I will say though. I think an honorary mention, seriously, is the Valkyrie. That's a great ship. It has troop transport, cargo, and it can fight. I mean, that thing, shreds when you're dropping those troops off in the middle of battle. So the Valk is a great multi-purpose that I don't see a lot of, but I know security has it sometimes. But it's a good ship. I mentioned that.
I will shake your hand on the Valk. Yes, I agree fully.
Yeah, that's my honorary mention. I have one, and that's a great ship. That is a great ship for all-purpose, all-around, hard-hitting, specifically in the role of combat and supporting troops on the ground, moving equipment into the field. If you just need to make some deliveries, you can do that too if you need to. And a great ship for multiplayer with players sitting up on other guns. There's a lot of multiplayer aspect in that game, working together, the crew working together. I like it. It's a lot of fun.
Real quickly, I know we're supposed to say one, but my other one's going to be Constellation Andromeda, but that's it. That's all I'm going to say for that one. Well, honorary mention.
Yeah,
Constellation Andromeda.
All right, so we have 30 seconds left on the raffle. Exclamation point beta. Last minute people, try to get in.
Get in. Exclamation
20
point
seconds left.
Beta. Type it in.
There you go.
Exclamation
Oh,
point
Kemi's
beta.
in there. Thank you, Kemi.
You can win.
Thank you. Proving my point.
You can win.
All right, so about 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. I'm not going to count. All right, so if you haven't gotten in,
That's it. It's closed. It's closed. We're done.
Yeah. All right, so let's see who the winner is.
Okay,
Fire.
What? Are you serious?
Rick.
Oh my goodness.
You got your very own Mustang Beta.
Oh man.
Oh, that is so rigged. Oh my gosh, this was set up. It was a setup, y'all.
I'm serious. It is just, you should recuse yourself there, noob.
Noobifyer, if you want to, send an email to soulcitizens@gmail.com with your RSI email address, and you can get to that. My thing beta is well earned.
I can't believe
I think he's going to raffle it off on his channel. This is going to be
Please
who
re-roll.
gets
He said
stuck with the
re-roll.
methane beta.
The Noobifyer said please re-roll. So I don't know if we can do
Please
that.
re-roll. I don't know. Can you re-roll?
Can you re-roll? Okay, yeah, so you're going to re-roll.
He's going to re-roll. You are all right, Noobifyer. Thank you, Nat, for
Noobifyer. Thank you for the subscription.
we appreciate it.
We'll toss in something extra for his kindness there. I'll see if I can get an LTI version.
Thank you for this drawing.
Hey, no
Sponsored by,
problem.
yeah.
Like you said, it's for the citizens.
Thank you for the follow, Joppy. While we're doing that, we have
exclamation point beta for the keyword. Enter a raffle. We're doing it again.
Do it again. Exclamation point beta.
2 minutes.
You got 2 minutes. Exclamation point beta.
2 minutes. We got 2 minutes to get your name in.
But if Noobifyer wins again, he's just getting a ship. So
if Noob wins again, he just wins, y'all. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing this the third time.
So while we're waiting on that, Gigi, where can we find you on when you're not on here?
You can find me on all forms of social media at theGreenEyedGyal or GreenEyedGyal. I mean, just look at what my name says, GYAL, y'all. If you search Gal, GAL, you will not find me. If you do find me, that is not me. Search GYAL, all right? Cool.
Tenth, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm usually in Discord and on different shows, Soul Citizens, Channel 27 News, during the week. But I'm bouncing around the community, so you'll find me different places.
And Younique, where can we find you?
Oh, you can't find me. So I have several websites out, but they're all business oriented, and I go by the name on here as Akima Pliskin, so not unique at all. But if you wanted to see one of the websites, it's digitalcoinowner.org. So I do a lot in cryptocurrency and stuff, and we are fabricating a trading system as well that we'll announce later on. But that's most of what I spend my time doing outside of gaming and impressing GG.
And being in the ESO chat.
Yeah. In the ESO chat, on test a lot, murdering people.
Murdering everybody.
Kuchanagi, thank you. I almost forgot because I'm not wearing a shirt this time, but we have merchandise available. If you want to buy a Soul Citizen mug, mouse pad, or a T-shirt, check the link below for that. And thank you.
Yeah,
you can find.
Do we have hats?
Real quick, you can
all right, we're ready to roll.
All right, everybody.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Roll. Here we go.
Rolling.
10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1.
Hey, Tech.
Techmare has
there
won.
You go.
Welcome, Techmare. You have won.
Good job.
Welcome, Tech. Yay.
Are you out there? Say yes. You recognize that you won. And what's the rules to what's it got to do?
Yeah, you got contact Soul Citizen with the S on the end at gmail.com, or you can contact us through Discord, but mostly the Soul Citizen sins at gmail.com with your RSI email address, so we can send that to you. So congrats, Techman.
Congratulations.
You won the same.
You can find me on twitter.com/fast_cart. I'm on Miss Hearts 80 show on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Base Radio on Twitch.
Shout out Miss Hearts, we love you.
And you can also find me with the Table of Horrors Sir Bathley's RPG show on Wednesdays and Fridays. That Table of Horrors on Twitch.tv. And sometimes I'm on Relay, sometimes I'm on Captain Table. But yeah, mostly Twitter and the Discord. You can go to the link below and talk with us there. All right, so I think that's it. Congratulations on winning. We're waiting for Assault. So say hello to the fans with us, and remember, peace, love, and soul.
All right, everybody, hit us up on Fridays with Friday Night Lights, which is our show, with an interactive talk show. Please hit us up and come chat with us. We love to see you guys then, and we will see you next Sunday. Bye, everyone.